1 cup of coffee later, and I'm the chosen savior of the galaxy. Part 1, The Accidental Ambassador. Dr. Naomi Winters swirled the steaming coffee in her mug, watching the iridescent cinnamon oil create mesmerizing patterns on the surface. 3 years into her assignment as chief exolinguist aboard orbital station Theseus, and she still couldn't find anyone who appreciated her special blend, a rich combination of Ecuadorian beans enhanced with a proprietary mix of spices she'd perfected during her doctoral studies. The observation deck offered a panoramic view of the swirling nebula that separated human territory from the crystalline domain of the Limidian collective. Naomi often came here during off hours, finding the quiet space perfect for organizing her thoughts and enjoying her morning ritual undisturbed. The cosmic patterns resemble molecular vibration frequencies, came a melodic voice beside her. Naomi started, nearly spilling her precious coffee. She hadn't noticed anyone approach, especially not a Limidian dignitary. The being stood approximately human height, their translucent crystalline body refracting the nebula's light into dazzling rainbows across the observation deck floor. Within their crystalline form, complex structures pulsed with internal light that shifted between deep violets and electric blues. Ambassador Vortex, Naomi said, quickly recovering her professional demeanor. I didn't expect to see you outside the diplomatic sector. Welcome to the observation deck. The crystalline being's internal lights flickered in what Naomi recognized as their version of acknowledgement. I find your designation amusing. Vortex is an approximation, yet it captures the spiraling nature of my resonance pattern. The being's voice had no discernible source, seeming to emanate from the air around them. You are Dr. Naomi Winters, the pattern matcher who deciphers communication sequences. Exolinguist is the formal term, but yes, Naomi smiled, impressed that the Limidian had bothered learning who she was. Most dignitaries only interacted with Commander Pierce and his diplomatic team. I analyze communication systems across species. Vortex's attention shifted to her mug. You consume liquid molecular compounds for sustenance. This? It's coffee, more pleasure than sustenance, really. Naomi glanced down at her mug. It's a traditional human beverage. The aromatic compounds stimulate our neural pathways. Fascinating. Your species introduces external compounds to modify internal processes. Vortex's crystalline structure shifted, facets realigning to create what Naomi had learned to recognize as curiosity. Does this enhance your pattern matching abilities? Naomi laughed. Some linguists would argue it's essential to our work. Would you like to try some? The words escaped before her professional judgment caught up. Offering food or drink across species boundaries was typically preceded by extensive biochemical analysis. To her surprise, Vortex's internal lights brightened considerably. You would share your neural enhancement compound? This is most unexpected. It's probably not compatible with your physiology, Naomi backpedaled, suddenly remembering the diplomatic protocols. I should run it by the xenobiology team first. I possess internal analysis capabilities, Vortex interrupted, internal light patterns accelerating. The gesture itself carries significance regardless of consumption compatibility. Before Naomi could protest further, Vortex extended what appeared to be a crystalline appendage. The moment the coffee made contact, something extraordinary happened. Instead of dripping off the crystal surface, the liquid seemed to merge with it, tiny droplets pulling apart into molecular components that spiraled into Vortex's structure. The Limidian's internal lights flared with a brilliance that momentarily blinded Naomi. Extraordinary! Vortex exclaimed, their normally melodic voice resonating with new harmonics. The molecular compounds, the structural patterns. I've never encountered such perfect resonance complementarity. Naomi blinked away the spots in her vision. Are you okay? Should I call medical? I am experiencing optimal functionality, Vortex replied, their form pulsing with rapidly shifting light patterns. Dr. Winters, you have initiated a harmonic resonance bond of the highest order. My internal structure has already begun integrating the resonance patterns from your offering. A what? Naomi felt her stomach drop. Something in the formal phrasing triggered her linguist's alarm bells. I just shared some coffee. It's a casual human gesture of friendship. Vortex's light pattern stabilized into a steady, brilliant glow. Among the Limidian collective, particularly those of the House of Quantum Harmony, offering a personally crafted molecular compound designed to enhance function is the most profound gesture of partnership. The registry of interdimensional accords will have already recorded the initial resonance integration. Naomi set down her mug carefully. Are you saying what I think you're saying? Station alert, incoming priority transmission from the Limidian diplomatic vessel Crystalline Concordance, announced the station's AI. Commander Pierce requests Dr. Naomi Winters' immediate presence in Conference Room Alpha. Perfect timing, Naomi muttered, suddenly understanding the gravity of her casual offering. Conference Room Alpha buzzed with tension when Naomi arrived. Commander Julian Pierce stood at the head of the table, his normally composed features tight with concern. Beside him sat Dr. Haruki Tanaka, the station's chief xenobiologist, frantically reviewing data on a tablet. Across from them, a holographic projection showed 3 Limidians, their crystalline forms more elaborate and radiant than vortexes. Ah, Dr. Winters, Commander Pierce said with forced casualness. So glad you could join us. May I introduce First Resonator Prisma of the House of Quantum Harmony. The largest of the holographic Limidians pulsed with acknowledging light. The stellar resonance partner to our kinship member Vortex. We are most pleased by this unexpected development. Naomi took her seat slowly. There seems to be a misunderstanding. I simply offered Ambassador Vortex some coffee. Your modesty is commendable, Prisma responded, their tone somehow conveying both amusement and gravity. But the molecular analysis has already confirmed a 98.7% resonance compatibility. In 12 generations, our house has never recorded such harmonic alignment with an external species. Commander Pierce slid a data pad toward Naomi. On it glowed an official-looking document with both United Earth insignia and the crystalline symbol of the Limidian collective. The Galactic Accord Registry has already processed the notification, he explained quietly. Apparently, your coffee sharing constitutes a binding interspecies partnership agreement. Dr. Tanaka leaned forward. The biochemical analysis is fascinating. Your coffee contained a unique combination of compounds that perfectly complements the crystalline matrices of Vortex's particular resonance frequency. It's like finding a key that fits a lock we didn't even know existed. This is ridiculous, Naomi whispered. I can't be legally bound by offering someone a beverage. Actually, Commander Pierce grimaced, interspecies law recognizes the cultural practices of both parties. In Limidian culture, molecular sharing of this nature is their most sacred bond. The second Limidian in the hologram spoke, their form tinged with a greenish light. I am Harmonic Interpreter Prism. For clarity, what you have established is not what humans would consider marriage. Rather, you have become what translates roughly as a stellar resonance partner, one who contributes essential harmonic patterns to another's resonance structure. Naomi massaged her temples. And what exactly does that mean for me? It means, Commander Pierce said carefully, that you're now diplomatically significant. The House of Quantum Harmony is the leading mediatory force between the Limidian collective and the crystalline concord of Andromeda. They've been locked in a cold war for generations. Vortex, who had been quietly pulsing in the corner, moved forward. Gar. Winter's resonance pattern, as expressed through her molecular offering, contains frequencies that bridge our discordant systems. The Harmonic Council believes this discovery could facilitate peace negotiations that have been stalled for 7 generations. The third Limidian hologram, smaller but with the most complex internal structures, finally spoke. I am Resonance Scholar Echo. Your contribution has already created ripple patterns throughout our collective. We request your presence at the Grand Harmonic Conclave in 3 Earth days. Commander Pierce's expression turned serious. This could be the diplomatic breakthrough we've been waiting for, Doctor. Or it could become an interstellar incident if mishandled. Naomi looked from the commander to the expectant Limidians, then to Vortex, whose form seemed to pulse with what she now recognized as hopeful anticipation. "So what you're saying," she said slowly, "is that my morning coffee ritual has accidentally made me the linchpin in interstellar peace negotiations?" "Precisely," the commander confirmed. Naomi took a deep breath. "Then I suppose I'd better learn what being a stellar resonance partner actually entails, and quickly." As the meeting continued around her, Naomi couldn't help but think that the university never covered this scenario in Exolinguistics 101. One cup of coffee had transformed her from a behind-the-scenes researcher to the unexpected ambassador of humanity, bound by molecular bonds she didn't understand, to a crystalline being from another star system. And somewhere in the station's recycling unit, the remnants of her special blend were being processed, completely unaware of their role in reshaping galactic diplomacy. Dr. Naomi Winters stared at her reflection in the polished surface of the preparation chamber aboard the Limidian vessel Crystalline Concordance. Her standard station uniform had been replaced with an elaborate outfit that the Limidians insisted was appropriate for her first appearance at the Grand Harmonic Conclave. The iridescent fabric shifted colors with her movements, mimicking the internal light patterns of her Limidian hosts. "The resonance garments complement your biological structure admirably," observed Vortex, entering the chamber with a gentle pulse of greeting lights. Over the past 3 days, Naomi had grown accustomed to the Limidians' presence, though the implications of their partnership remained overwhelming. "I feel like I'm wearing a mood ring," Naomi replied, watching the fabric flicker between blues and violets in response to her anxiety. "Are you certain this diplomatic summit requires my presence? I'm a linguist, not a negotiator." Vortex's crystalline form shifted into what Naomi had learned to recognize as their version of reassurance, a symmetrical alignment of internal facets that created a stable light pattern. "Your presence is essential. The molecular harmony you initiated has already been analyzed by both factions. They are intrigued." The door slid open, revealing Dr. Tenzin Rava, the station's xenoanthropologist who had been granted permission to accompany them as a cultural advisor. His weathered face broke into a smile as he surveyed Naomi's ceremonial attire. "Fascinating adaptation of human morphology into Limidian aesthetic principles," he commented, circling her with scholarly interest. "The garment appears to be translating your emotional states into their visual language." "Wonderful," Naomi muttered. "So everyone at this diplomatic function will literally see how terrified I am." "Fear is recognized as a rational response to unprecedented situations," Vortex offered helpfully. "The Crystalline Concord representatives will interpret it as appropriate caution rather than weakness." Commander Pierce's voice came through the communication panel. "Dr. Winters, preliminary scans from the approaching Andromedan vessel show unusual energy signatures. They've brought their highest-ranking resonance masters. Whatever you did with that coffee has their complete attention." Naomi sighed. "It was just my personal blend, Ecuadorian dark roast with cinnamon, cardamom, and a pinch of what my grandmother called stardust, a family secret mineral compound she claimed came from a meteorite." Dr. Rava's head snapped up. "Meteorite compounds? In your coffee? This information might be critically important, Doctor." "It's just family folklore," Naomi protested. "Grandmother was eccentric. She claimed the meteorite fell near our ancestral home in Tanzania over a century ago." The xenoanthropologist was already scanning the empty coffee container Naomi had brought aboard. "Eccentric or not, we should analyze this stardust immediately." The Grand Harmonic Conclave exceeded all of Naomi's expectations. The central chamber of the Limidian diplomatic vessel had been transformed into what could only be described as a crystalline cathedral. Towering structures of living crystal formed intricate geometric patterns that shifted subtly, creating harmonics that resonated through Naomi's body. Dozens of Limidians positioned themselves in precise formations, their internal lights creating complex patterns that Naomi suspected carried meaning beyond visual aesthetics. Across the chamber, the Andromedan delegation presented a striking contrast. Though also crystalline in nature, the Andromedans exhibited more rigid, angular structures with sharper facets that refracted light in aggressive, prismatic bursts. Their resonance patterns produce discordant notes that seem deliberately at odds with the Limidian harmonies. The historical discord is immediately apparent even to my human senses, Naomi whispered to Dr. Rava, who was documenting the encounter with undisguised fascination. Two branches of the same evolutionary tree, he confirmed quietly, divided by what appears to be fundamental differences in resonance frequency. Like trying to merge instruments tuned to incompatible keys. First resonator prisma glided forward, their elaborate crystalline form pulsing with formal patterns. We welcome the representatives of the crystalline concord to this extraordinary gathering. The discovery of a bridge frequency through our kinship member Vortex and their stellar resonance partner Dr. Naomi Winters offers unexpected potential for harmonic reconciliation. The leader of the Andromedan delegation, a massive crystalline entity with internal structures that seem to fold in on themselves in impossible geometries, moved forward. I am Grand Facet Obsidian of the 7th crystalline ascendancy. We acknowledge the resonance anomaly and have come to examine this human-influenced pattern directly. All attention turned to Naomi, who suddenly felt conspicuously non-crystalline among the assembled beings. Vortex moved closer, their light patterns offering subtle encouragement. The human Dr. Winters has established a molecular bond that exhibits frequencies previously believed incompatible with our structural matrix, Vortex explained, their voice resonating with formal tones. When her molecular compound integrated with my structure, it created a bridging pattern that resonates with both Limidian and Andromedan harmonic sequences. Obsidian's internal structures shifted dramatically. Demonstrate this bridge frequency. Vortex pulsed briefly, then emitted a complex sound, part musical tone, part crystalline vibration, that rippled through the chamber. The Limidians responded with matching harmonic pulses, while the Andromedans visibly tensed, their structures becoming more rigid. This frequency contains elements that should not coexist, Obsidian declared. How has this human influenced your resonance matrix? Before Naomi could respond, Dr. Rava stepped forward, tablet in hand. If I may offer a scientific observation, the molecular analysis of Dr. Winters' coffee reveals the presence of extraterrestrial mineral compounds with unique vibrational properties. The substance her family called stardust contains isotopes consistent with material from the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy. A ripple of light patterns, the equivalent of astonished murmurs, passed through both delegations. The lost origin, whispered one of the Andromedan representatives, their usual discordant tones momentarily harmonizing with the Limidian ambient frequencies. Naomi glanced at Dr. Rava in confusion. The xenoanthropologist's eyes were wide with realization. The historical records suggest both Limidians and Andromedans originated from the same stellar nursery in the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy before evolutionary divergence, he explained quickly. If this mineral compound indeed originated there, then Dr. Winters has accidentally reintroduced the foundational resonance frequency that predates our division, completed resonance scholar Echo, advancing to examine the data on Rava's tablet. This is unprecedented. Commander Pierce, who had been observing from the diplomatic sidelines, saw an opportunity. Rather than focusing on the accidental bond between Dr. Winters and Ambassador Vortex, perhaps we should consider the scientific implications of this discovery. Naomi stepped forward, finally finding her voice. What Commander Pierce suggests makes sense. I'm not equipped to be anyone's stellar resonance partner, but as an exolinguist, I understand that communication often requires a bridge between disparate systems. What if we reframe this situation as a scientific collaboration instead of a binding partnership? Explain, demanded Obsidian, though their tone carried more curiosity than hostility. The coffee I shared with Vortex wasn't intended as a formal offering, Naomi continued, gaining confidence. It was an accident that revealed something scientifically valuable. Instead of enforcing a partnership neither of us fully understood, we could establish a joint research initiative between humans, Limidians, and Andromedans to study these bridging frequencies. Vortex's light patterns shifted to indicate consideration. The resonance partnership could be reclassified as a research concordance. This would preserve the significance of the discovery while acknowledging the cross-cultural misunderstanding. First resonator Prisma pulsed thoughtfully. Such reclassification would require approval from the Registry of Interdimensional Accords. Consider the potential benefits, Dr. Rava interjected. A formal research alliance focusing on harmonic integration could advance all three civilizations' understanding of molecular resonance. The accidental discovery in Dr. Winter's coffee could lead to technological applications beyond current projections. Grand facet obsidian's internal structures realign several times before responding. The crystalline concord has long sought access to original frequency patterns from the ancestral stellar matrix. A collaborative research framework might be acceptable. Commander Pierce stepped forward. Space Station Theseus could serve as a neutral research facility for this joint venture. Dr. Winters and her team could coordinate the linguistic and cultural translation aspects, while both Limidian and Andromedan scientists contribute their expertise. For the first time since the meeting began, the ambient frequencies in the chamber shifted toward harmony rather than discord. Naomi felt the tension dissolving as the diplomatic and scientific possibilities expanded before them. 6 months later, Naomi stood in a newly constructed resonance research laboratory aboard Space Station Theseus, watching as Limidian and Andromedan scientists worked side by side, something unimaginable before her coffee-sharing incident. At the center of the lab, a small crystalline structure pulsed with patterns that incorporated elements from both species' resonance frequencies, stabilized by the carefully calibrated compounds derived from her grandmother's stardust. The Galactic Science Council has formally recognized the Winters Vortex Harmonic Bridge Theorem, Commander Pierce announced, entering the lab with a data crystal containing the official notification. They're calling it the most significant advancement in cross-species communication technology since the development of the Universal Translator. Vortex, who had remained on the station as chief Limidian researcher, pulsed with pleased light patterns. The reclassification from partnership to research concordance has been formally ratified by the registry. You are officially released from any personal obligations while maintaining scientific attribution for the discovery. Naomi smiled, watching the beautiful interplay of light between the once hostile crystalline species. So I'm no longer accidentally married to an alien diplomat? Not exactly, Dr. Rava said, joining them with fresh data readings. You're now accidentally the founder of a revolutionary scientific field instead. The first human to establish a methodology for translating molecular resonance patterns across species boundaries. Commander Pierce handed her a steaming mug, her special blend, now officially named Harmonic Bridge Brew, in the station's database. I'd say that's a significant upgrade from your previous role as an exolinguist, Doctor. Naomi accepted the coffee, savoring its familiar aroma. All because I decided to share my morning coffee with a stranger. She raised her mug toward Vortex, who pulsed with what she now recognized as their equivalent of laughter. I still maintain that your initial gesture was intentionally intuitive, Vortex responded. Your species possesses remarkable adaptive instincts, even when operating without conscious awareness. Or sometimes, Naomi said, watching the shimmer of harmonized crystals growing in the research chamber, we just get lucky when we decide to be kind. Across the station, in the diplomatic sector, representatives from 17 previously non-aligned star systems gathered to discuss joining the newly formed Resonance Research Coalition. And in the station's cafeteria, a newly installed sign offered a gentle warning: sharing beverages with diplomatic personnel may result in unexpected scientific breakthroughs and interstellar peace accords. Proceed with caffeinated caution.